Frack on. Welcome to another episode of Frack The Canon. So I'm CJ, just FTC classic, for your listening pleasure. CJ and myself. What's up, CJ? How you doing, bro?
What's up, man? Been a been a minute since I been on the show.
I know you've been too good for us. I'm kidding. No, I know. Life happens, as they
Yeah.
say. So let's start with the big one that came out as of right now. Talk about the big one, and I mean the big one, not King Kong versus Godzilla. Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut. Let's start with you, CJ, because you and I had very different opinions of this
Okay.
movie.
Okay. So, sorry, I just have to take a. When you say King Kong and you say the big one, it immediately makes me think of that SNL classic skit. But moving on, moving on from that big one to something that kind of bites the big one, but honestly, it's all right. Listen, just yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody about the Zack Snyder cut and I genuinely feel, genuinely isn't the word I meant, but I do feel that way. But generally, I generally feel,
Generally and
uh,
genuinely.
right, I genuinely, but generally feel that the Zack Snyder cut, like I liked it better than the theatrical cut we got.
Hmm.
Um, However, that being said, in the same sentence, that being said, I don't ever want to watch this movie again. Like, I don't ever want to watch this movie again. I watched it with my dad, and I watched it in two parts. We watched it over 2 nights. Watched like I don't know, half ish of it, and then finished it off. And I remember when we got to the end of where we were, I was like I'm enjoying myself. Like there's goodness to this, but like if I ever had to like watch this part what we just watched again, like I would no, I wouldn't. Like I don't ever want to watch that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel that way about the movie. I'm not sorry I watched it. I had a good time. You know what I mean? Like, but there's a lot of in it, and like, but there's a lot of like I don't know. I heard someone say on a podcast, the runtime it's both its greatest strength and its greatest weakness. And I think that's true because it is like it's it's better because of its runtime because it gets to flesh certain things out that weren't before, but it's worse because of its runtime because of the other stuff that it is in this that it's in there. You know what I mean? Just random stuff like the flash scene. If we want to talk about that for a sec, the
Which scene? Him saving Iris or him saving the world, or
him
both?
saving Iris.
On shapeless oceans, I did all my best to smile.
Us meeting us meeting Barry Allen, right? That's us meeting Barry Allen, right?
Properly, yeah.
Yeah, that's us meeting Barry Allen. And it's like it's coupled and it's like every like 10 minutes of this movie has something like that I think is genuinely cool, something that I think is just absolutely like insane that it's even in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, so here we go. Like, we start off with Barry Allen. You know what I mean? Like, kicking off his powers, and he like spins really quick, and he like gets out of his shoes or whatever, and he like touches the glass and breaks through it, you know what I mean? All like super speed, like, and I'm like, dude, looks really cool, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden we get outside, and then he like is stroking Iris for like, I don't know what, you know what I mean? It's like, what is this? Why is this in the freaking movie? Why does the truck driver in the middle of a city? Why does the truck driver in the middle of like bend down for 30 whole seconds to grab his burger? You know what I mean? Like freaking through a crowded street. Like, why? You know what I mean? It's like, what? Why is the scene needed? It wasn't. You know what I mean? It's completely unnecessary.
The first thing I thought when I saw this was that I see it shot. I'm like, Frack, this is boring as hell. And then hashtag Me Too came to mind because he would just look at him like, dude, this is not romantic at all. This is very
It's
creepy.
creepy. It's
I'm like,
creepy. You know what I mean?
what are you trying to say, Snyder? Um,
And you know what? Let me just put a little PSA for all the Hollywood people who watch the show. Of course, I know they all watch it.
We know.
For all the Hollywood hoity-toities that watch this show,
We see all the
can we
copyright claims.
stop? Can we stop like doing super speed scenes in slow motion? Like, is that something that we can stop? Like, is that something we could just agree that like when we're doing super speed, like we don't want everything in slow mo, including the person going in super speed. Like we don't want them. We don't want to see them in slow mo.
What do you mean, CJ? Can you elaborate on that?
You know what I mean? It's like, dude, okay. No, listen, that's a message to Hollywood. But while we're on the topic of slow mo,
Jesus Christ, Zack Snyder, stop with the slow mo. Oh my God.
my goodness. There was an article, that IGN put out saying that like 10% of this movie is in slow motion, and it's something around to the tune of like, if you run all the slow motion shots at normal pace, like something to the tune of like around a half hour is cut out of this movie, like just from not using slow.
There is so much slow mo in this damn movie. I don't want to see slow mo ever again. You've ruined slow mo for me.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and then there was this one slow mo. So we'll talk to it. We'll talk to it now. I'll talk about it now. So I'm on record saying I'm not a Snyder fan. I watched it begrudgingly, but I'm like, I need to watch it. So at least and I'll give you guys this. The story does make sense, but it makes me hate him even more now because of his damn fracking ego. I'm like, can you not let go of this stuff? The slow mo stuff. I'm like, you need the slow mo. You don't need the scene where he's saving Iris. It's cool. When he saves the world, also, that's reflected in the theatrical cut with the family.
It's okay. Hold on. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I understand why they did that though, because saving the world, we don't see him saving the world. We see him saving. He's just running. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I don't connect with anyone here, but when he saves the family, I'm like, okay, I connect to the family. I see the family. I'm like, that to me, okay, I see what Whedon did. I'm like, it's random. I'm like, oh, I understand now why they did that. But I'm like, still though, I'm like, I don't know. What else? And we talked about this yesterday, and I want you to bring up it, but them pretty much cold-bloodedly killing Steppenwolf. What the frack? Like, all right, so Aquaman stabbed him to the back. I'm like, all right, I've never seen a hero do that before. Maybe Punisher, maybe.
I don't think I've ever seen Punisher do that before.
Yeah,
but
like,
I wouldn't put it past him, I guess.
Right? And then they throw it back to the boom tube. He's done. He's out for the count. Fracking Wonder Woman cuts his head off. I'm like, what the hell was that about? Where did that come from? Why? Like, you preach love and peace in all this movie. Now you just cold-bloodedly cut this dude's head off? I'm like, are you guys? Is the Justice League made of murderers? That's what pissed me off about that movie. I'm like, I don't think he understands what superheroes are meant to do, like the no-kill rule. And you presented it too, like, yeah, but this is in his version. That's a take. Cool. All right, it's a take we've seen, but they conflict with their own continuity. And you said something about Superman, about Man of Steel, and the reading for Man of Steel that I liked. Can you say that again about him not being why the movie's called Man of Steel and not Superman? Because I love how you said that.
Well, let me just kind of jump off of some of the stuff you're saying right now, right? Like, so like, because you dropped a boatload here, right? Yeah. So like, one of the ways I feel about this, like, because I'm conflicted too, because like when that ended, freaking one of the things, like, I feel conflicted because, like, no, I feel you. Like when she went and cut his head off, like I laughed out loud when I saw that part. I was like, what? Is she gonna do that? What? Oh my god, she cut his head off. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, it's like, and it's so Zack Snyder to do something like that. He's like, because this is my fucking Justice League and it's fucking dude, you know.
It's real and gritty. We kill people in this one world.
You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, oh man, I was like, people would kind of hate this, like, because like that's not necessarily the Justice League. But then I started to think about it. I was like, well, it is it's not counter to the Justice League necessarily that we were presented in this series. Like and when I say in this series, I mean in the trio of movies that Zack Snyder gave us, right?
Right.
Because essentially in that timeline, in this alternate timeline where this all came to theaters, for all Zack Snyder movies, and we hadn't seen Patty Jenkins' input yet, and we hadn't seen um I don't know, I forgot James Wan, is that his
He's
name?
one, yeah.
Yeah, we hadn't seen James Wan's take, and we hadn't seen Joss Whedon's take on these characters either. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that all being what it was, you know what I mean? Okay, this wasn't necessarily outside of the vein of like these people that he showed me. You know what I mean? Like Aquaman is a dude and he saw an opening. You know what I mean? Dude was back. You know, we're having a tough time fighting this dude, so I'm just gonna stab him right now. You know what I mean? Like freaking, they're all men. Freaking Superman murdered a person. Superman killed a person for the greater good 2 movies ago.
Never.
You know what I
The
mean?
greater good.
Like,
I'm sorry, I have to do that. I just have to. I'm sorry.
what'd you say?
Like the greater good. I'm sorry. I just had to do it. I just had to quote.
No,
I had to quote Hot Fuzz. I'm sorry.
But yeah. He did something like that, you know. And to me, like, when I think of Wonder Woman, you know, she's Xena, you know, she's a warrior princess. You know what I mean? Like she comes from a warrior race of people. Like, so to me, like her doing that, like, yes, it stands against what she probably would do in the comics, but at the same time, like it doesn't like knock me as much, but it does say like, okay, these characters aren't really heroes, and I can see why they slash W want to sign off on this. You know what I mean? Like it's like, well, you know, I mean that our Justice League characters really shouldn't look like this. You know what I mean? Like, and I agree with that. But you know what I mean? I agree with that statement. But overall, it didn't necessarily offend me watching it. Like when I kind of think, but like, you know, it is like, oh wow, it is jarring because these characters, like you said, it doesn't make them heroes. You know what I mean? Like it leaves them in a different light. You know what I mean? Like, but to what you were asking me to say earlier, we were talking, and we were talking about that moment, you know what I mean? And this kind of like is further hinted at in Justice League, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is a character who just snapped Zod's neck 2 movies ago, which, you know, was divisive. And it doesn't really bother me because to me it was like, you know, the movie's called Man of Steel. It's about a human, the more human side of Superman, you know what I mean? And like in that end, when Zod, he was left with this impossible choice. He made that a man would make. You know what I mean? Like he made the choice that pretty much no matter like what you say, like he made the choice you would have made. You know what I mean? Like, and oftentimes like in comic books, Superman has to make the choice that you wouldn't make. He has to make the choice above you. You know what I mean? Because he is above us. He's like this, you know, this being, the supernatural being. But like, yeah, like I said, it's Man of Steel. It's not called Superman. It's called Man of Steel. It's about a man trying to become Superman. You know, he is a man with all these powers and he's trying to fit in our world. You know what I mean? Like, fast forward to the Justice League, which is a clunky movie at best, but it still has that character in it. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, this moment is beyond Superman and the Justice League, but maybe not beyond this Justice League. You know what I mean? Maybe not beyond this Superman, you know, like we got this take, you know what I mean? And it's like, hey, this take is over. No matter,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It is over, you know.
I mean, so overall, so yeah. So your thoughts. So you overall, you liked it. You enjoyed it. Would you recommend people at least watch it once?
Recommend is a strong word. I would say if you are either bored, curious, or a Zack Snyder fan, then yes.
And if you're
But
a Zack Snyder, go ahead, sorry.
beyond those 3 things, like no. Like beyond those 3, I just said no, I wouldn't recommend watching it. You know what I mean? But if you are one of those 3 things, if you're a Zack Snyder fan, if you're bored, like that bored, like 4 hours bored, or 4 hours curious, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Like I said this in the Spanish version. I didn't. I understood a lot of more things. I'm like, it's not clunky. it made me appreciate Josh Whedon as a storyteller a lot more, even the whole his whole thing. And I was like I said to you, I feel we only got it first of all because of the freaking fan outcry, which is starting to scare me a lot. I'm like, this is scary. And also I think it was so romanticized that people like it. I feel that if this movie were to come out, it would have been trashed. It would have gotten the same shit reviews it got with the trailer theatrical cut got. I don't like it. I don't like Josh Whedon. I feel that his ego's too big to be like, no, this is my masterpiece. I'm like, well, first of all, dude, like, no, it's not a masterpiece at all, in my opinion. Yeah, I wouldn't say watch it at all. No, I think the theatrical cut is a lot better because there's conflict between the characters. Like everything was so easy, for them in this movie. I'm like, everything's so easy for you guys. Like there was no real conflict. There was no real problem for you to get through. And I feel that Josh Whedon gave him that in the theatrical cut we got. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. Alrighty, so I'm gonna end this one right now for so that's our review. So yes, the Snyder cut. I say don't watch it. CJ says doesn't recommend it, but I don't know. It's just
it's like a half recommendation. It's like if you want to watch it, like my recommendation was more like if you're interested, watch it. You know what I mean? Like,
have you heard that phrase is like praise with a slap or whatever? What's it called? What I'm trying to say? It's like the reverse of that, like damning but giving it a praise.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you same fracking time, same fracking channel. Frack off.